Rocking around a Christmas tree.
Tony Caravan. You've been subjected to a highly sophisticated form of propaganda.
It's just what you need.
Yeah, it's that time of year.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Wake up. It's 3:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Just calling it Eastern Time. On the 22nd of November. And just put up my chat right now that says Happy Holidays, and I really mean it. There's zeros across the board on the analytics. Nobody's listening, no playbacks, no chat, no nothing. That's okay. Anyway, and I do believe, let's see if I got a notification from YouTube. Get message. I did not get a notification from YouTube that my show is live. So, it is live, I do believe. Let me see here. Make sure my little graphic took. It seems to have taken. Otherwise, it rejects it. You were brought here by It's the Holiday Season. Whoop-dee-doo. I did tune a guitar, so we're going to maybe mess around a little bit with some songs. We'll see how it goes, you know.
Christmas rocks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, you wonderful old Billy and Lone.
I just don't watch that show anymore. I've been tempted a few times. See, this is my self-centered years. I used to have this on my desk in my office. I'm sorry. Let me drop everything, work on your problem. I'm not like that anymore. I will drop everything and work on your problem. You see, I'm drinking this citrus green tea for now. I took another one of those oxycodone, whatever, yesterday. And this morning, the bottom of my mouth was feeling a little sore. And I have thought that, now this isn't diet, though it claims to be antioxidant. Yeah, right. Hopefully the sugar in there. You know, this is a classic example of one of these things that has water, sugar, citric acid, sodium, blah, 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 some kind of other thing, then some green tea, flavored ascorbic acid, which really isn't vitamin C, truly, and all kinds of other crazy stuff. But, you know, they call it citrus green tea. And it has antioxidant vitamin C on the front cover. You see what I mean? What you could get away with in this, under this FDA regime. You know, it's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Or better yet.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
So let's dig right into it. It's the beginning of the work week. So, do you know what's missing here? I suddenly realize it, is I don't have just the plain old, because I created this as a weekend thing, I don't have the normal just.
The Weather Watch forecast.
So, yeah, the Weather Watch forecast. I'm going to have to get rid of a couple of things. Trying to improve my view. So we're still getting that, you know, west to east, which is natural flow of the clouds. Now, I don't necessarily believe that the jet stream has dipped down that low. I think this is just a pattern of, of clouds. We had rain last night. Fortunately, it wasn't that bad, so probably filled up another, half inch or less than half of an inch in a couple of my upstairs attic bins, but at some point this week I'm going to have to go up there and clean it out. For those interested, yeah, my mouth is not back to normal. I could have taken a pain pill this morning, but I'm trying to resist We'll see how it goes. Maybe after I eat something later if my mouth is sore. But I only have a couple of those things, so I want to use them sparingly. And I still want to save like 2 of them or so for future emergencies. But as you can see, the clouds seem to be like thickening up and, just east of the Ohio Valley into the mid-Atlantic states is where there's a distinct pattern and a convergence of those blue clouds and a slightly thicker, movement of clouds. So I don't know. This is like just happened, this satellite photo. But you see that stuff coming down from the north? That's like really frigid air. And, I guess case in point, if my weather seems to equalize itself here, sometimes it doesn't. The high today here is going to be like in the 40s, low 40s, and overnight 25 degrees. I do believe last night it was somewhere in the high 30s or something like that. Somewhere around, before sunrise, it's going to be like 37 degrees, just to give you an idea. Tomorrow it's going to be 34 as the high, 21 the low. And then it's just going to flip-flop from like days where it's 40 if the sun's out to this Friday where there's a 50% chance of snow, 30 degrees, and the overnight 23. So this weekend's going to be cold, maybe snowy, but definitely frigid. So it's the holiday season, so bundle up and, la-di-da, la-di-da.
The Weather Watch forecast.
And that's that. So we'll go through the old laundry list of the things we usually do every morning. Have you noticed the back is starting to get crazy? I had a Dollar Tree delivery yesterday. Of course, they didn't have the things I wanted. I wanted this extension cord. So there used to be some weird song. Jolly old Saint Nicholas, lend your ear this way. Well, anyway, jolly old Saint Nicholas wasn't listening. The person that picked up my stuff either didn't feel like really looking deep to find the stuff or the store didn't have it. I couldn't get the spring water again, and they were going to substitute with purified tap water, and of course I managed to stop that in time. And I wanted, instead of that thing that looks like a keyhole, it's actually a bell with like some acorns and stuff on the top of it. And I got a little Christmas tree next to the bear. But I wanted to have this, like this green tree. So what I might do is it's going to be an operation. I couldn't do it this morning in time because I had to get all these images together for this show. So probably, maybe tomorrow that the backdrop will take another change. Will change again. So anyway, if you've been following Bitcoin, and I'm doing this for you folks more so than me, just as an observation because people are talking about it, it's down again, back down to 57 over, this overnight basically. So we'll see what happens this week. So it's, but yeah, it went down another 2%. So I don't know if there's a lot of profit taking, people getting ready for the holidays and taking the money out so they can buy things or deal with their, a lot of times at the end of the year, people have to deal with their taxes, so they take money out. I don't know. There's all kinds of financial games people play, that are into dealing with money. See, one of the things about breaking free of the system the way I did is that I don't have those worries and woes anymore, one time I had quarterly taxes when I used to have a business that, that sold things. So you had to report to the state every quarter. That was years ago. Well, not years, but quite a few years ago. And I finally said, "The heck with that," and stop doing it. It's like it's a disincentive for. It's really hard for a small business person, what they used to call the mom pop store, because you you're you're not bringing in enough money to hire an accountant. Okay, and I mean, you could, but I mean, that's money right out of your pocket, right out of your profits. And yet there's all of these hoops, that you've got to jump through. And so they just make it so the system was set up so that the corporatocracy could take over and that it would become what it is now, and which is kind of the title of this show, The Post Great Reset World, 22 November 21. Because that's what it is. Anyway, so I'm saying this while I have this Bitcoin thing up, but yeah, you get the idea. It's just, I don't know, it's very iffy. Now, I did, like I say, usually once a week or so, I will put up the news if there's something there that's, pathetic, hypocritic, something weird. And here are two stories just straight out of Google that are just really sad. Okay? A person plowed their SUV through a Christmas parade, leaving 5 dead and more than 40 injured in Wisconsin. Now remember, Wisconsin, this wasn't in that Kenosha place, okay? But, Wisconsin was, some idiot probably couldn't find, Kenosha, some psycho watching the news getting inflamed from, Rachel Maddow or somebody. And so they decided, okay, here, I'll just do this here and kill people and maim them on the holiday parade or something. I mean, this hatred, this violence, it's unacceptable. And then there's something down here I noticed. And look, this is right below. I didn't cut and paste this. I just went to Google News. Okay, so this isn't me, my opinion, or anything like that. This is Google News and the various news coverages that, You notice how CNN plays this thing down. The Milwaukee Journal, which is obviously in Wisconsin, says a person plowed their SUV through the Christmas parade, leaving 5 dead and 40 injured. But CNN, an hour ago, says police report some fatalities in quotation mark after more than 20 people were injured when a driver plowed through a Christmas parade. You see what CNN did there? Can you see that? Okay, so the actual newspaper that's in Wisconsin that no doubt has firsthand reporters there, or reports, clearly says leaving 5 dead and more than 40 injured. Authorities say, reported by the Milwaukee Journal. But CNN says police report, in quotes, some fatalities after more than 20 people. So they're reporting half the people were injured and some fatalities, but the CNN report is only 1 hour ago, and the Milwaukee Journal reported from Wisconsin 2 hours ago. Do you see the games that are being played by the media here? And people need to point this stuff out. And the thing is, as the Guardian, which is no great paper either necessarily, further goes, social media footage shows SUV speeding through Wisconsin Christmas parade. So there actually is video. So CNN, how could they lie like that? And then here's some updates. Smash and grab thieves target Hayward Mall. Lululemon store robbed in San Jose, Santana Row, or whatever. California Nordstrom ransacked by 80 looters in ski masks with crowbars and weapons, witnesses. So Christmas shopping this year is free in California, especially San Francisco. And going out to see a Christmas parade, could result in death and injury, according to this. What's the matter with people? What's the matter with people? So like I say, I don't usually report the news. I do it every, once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'll pull out something off of Google News. And this is Google News. This isn't me. And like I say, the way I do it is I screen capture it. I just hit, it's not edited. Nothing's cut and paste. Nothing's moved out. No words are changed. This is just like, this popped up on the screen. Those two back to back. Imagine that. And right there on Google News, you can see CNN downplaying the whole thing. Some fatalities and 20-some people, but yet 2 hours prior to that, the actual Wisconsin paper, people literally on the street, on the ground, are telling that authorities told them 5 were dead and 40 injured. And we know that there's video footage of it. And you watch CNN and any of these other things. I mean, even Madison.com is following the online, because see, that's part of social media. They're following 20 plus injured, right? See, they don't want to they use the numbers when they're convenient for their narratives, but when the numbers are scary and they go against their narratives, It's the holiday spirit. Man, that's really sad. And, I tuned the guitar because I wanted to, I don't know if it stayed tuned overnight because the weather fluctuates here so crazy these days, this time of year. And I got some old Christmas tracks out. See if we can pick this up. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. It's like kind of semi-Johnny Cash. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. Sounds nothing like the song. I apologize for that. Oh, I thought that would be a good one to play, but I was wrong. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Wait, it sounds out of tune. A partridge in a pear tree. I don't know if you can hear the guitar or not. Have yourself a merry, merry little Christmas. And we'll do this another time. It's either guitar or me that's not in the right mood. Key or something weird like that. I apologize. That was a nice try. Let's call that take one. Take two's coming up. That was sick. I don't know. It's too early in the morning, my throat. Or maybe I shouldn't be even singing with the tooth, in the mouth and all that. I don't know. Something's weird. It just didn't feel right. I don't even know if I'm supposed to do something like that. Suctioning. But I don't see any blood in the mouth. It's sick, isn't it? If you tuned into this because you saw this card and you thought that whoop-de-doo was like me kind of making fun of the thing, you're wrong. No, it's the holiday season, and whoop-de-doo. I mean, that's what what's-his-face says, Andy Williams.
If you're really Santa Claus, you can get it for me. And if you can't, you're only a nice man with a white beard, like Mother said.
I got that edited. That took a little bit of work.
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
Well, anyway, so speaking of holidays, our feature for today, music-wise, let's just go into these things. Then we'll get into, we'll just talk about some stuff. So, title card out. This is Brenda Lee. Brenda Lee's known for this song. I have to stop it there so we don't get a thing, but we'll just pick it up again and we should be okay.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas party hop.
There you go. That's Brenda Lee, and you know that song. It's like a seasonal classic for sure. I actually had the rights to put that on a compilation CD, which is a long story, which I did tell once. And I also had the rights for Happy Christmas, John Lennon's So This Is Christmas, too. Yeah. I was going to put it out through CBS Special Projects. It's like a long story when I lived in New York and was in the music biz. But anyway, Brenda Lee in this picture, she just kind of looks goofy. This is like from 1958. She was actually a pretty attractive looking woman. I don't know why they would put an image of her like that. It's just not her. You know what I mean? She's, in fact, let's see if I've got an open, something I'm not really using. I've got the tooth thing here. Maybe it's time we get rid of the, we'll leave the tooth thing for a while because who knows where we're going to go. Maybe what we'll find here. Actually, I'll just go to display capture. I'll just show you Brenda Lee. Let's see. New window. And history. Brenda Lee. She should. Images. Yeah, there's a classic. So let me just bring this up to on the screen so you can see this as well. It really sucks that I have to jump through hoops to do this thing. But, there. That's Brenda Lee. She was cute, you know. And there's other pictures of her. I mean, see that's a much nicer cover. I guess I should have used that one, right? I mean, they made so many of this. This song was like really big. I mean, and it's been big for so many years. Anyway, that's Brenda Lee. In case you're interested. But this is the like original album, and you can see how it's worn and the round circle. So it was in a stack of records, right? So the centers, yeah, it's pretty crazy. This was probably a 30. This might have been a 33 single, because the inside is wider than it normally would be in an album. You see, like how it's worn away, but these were stacked. So I just thought this would be more authentic, putting this one up. But anyway, Brenda Lee, rocking around the Christmas tree. It's a classic. I mean, you have to have that in your mix. It doesn't matter if it's I don't care if you have a hip hop party. You know what I mean? It's like, if you've got a mix, you've got to put that stuff in, just like you've got to put in like my song, Yeah.
Ugly sweaters and ex-girlfriend.
The worst Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa song ever written. You got to include that in your mix for sure. Anyway, featured artist, song of the day, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Brenda Lee, and we heard a little cut from it, which is kind of nice that we're doing that now. La Palma. Look at that ash going up into the sky. This is what it looked like yesterday to daytime. And you can see that that's not the highest peak there, right? But it's sure spewing out a lot of ash. So that thing's still rocking and rolling too. Much to our chagrin, because that's, like I say, taken in tandem, these things will be definitely causing some problems down the line. Video capture device. This is the image of my face. And I don't have any. Let's see some color corrections here. From time to time, I have done some color corrections. And, it's like I could take the saturation way up. I could take the saturation down to where it's almost black and white. Well, it is black and white. Or I could go very subtle, like this. We could increase the gamma to kind of brighten things up, which is amazing, the stuff you can do. Maybe add a little color to my face so I don't look so sickly. And we could take the opacity back on that a little bit too. But there would be no reason to, because there would be nothing behind us. Let's see what that looks like. How is that? Is that okay? It's kind of, it's almost a little grainy, but I kind of like it because it's TV-ish. It's like old TV-ish. And when I think of Christmas, to me, it's like old movies and old TV. Just my thing. So, yeah, let's stick with that. I'll be curious to see what it looks like on my TV when I watch the playback. And the thing about that Beale mad as hell thing, let me just check. I want to look for something. Mad as hell. I know that I have a color version of that. And let's see if I could find it. Come on, you could do it. Well, I have the cut, but I played the cut. The one time I played the cut, we got a copyright strike for no reason whatsoever because it wasn't from the movie producers. And this is just... Let's see if I put it close together. Yeah. File name. Let's see. Beale. Beale TV. Here it is. Okay. Now. So what we're going to do is this thing here is called display capture. I'm going to turn that off. Because I don't know why that's... No, that's not display capture, actually. Excuse me. I'm sorry about this, but you know, sometimes it's daily photo is what it was, and it shouldn't be the daily photo. Instead, it should just be mad as hell wherever it is. There it is. I have to move these things around sometimes. It's difficult. There. Actually, the Earth, it should be behind the ROCKFLUX. Patience. There we go. If I place it behind ROCKFLUX, I can enlarge it. Yeah. A little bit. All right, so we got that out of the way. Title card, display capture is off.
Hey, it's me. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing okay, feeling a little bit better. Things are starting to get, I guess, I hope I'm on the mend at, about an hour and 40 minutes from now, I got to take another amoxicillin pill. And then later today, I have that nightmare where I got to call these people to arrange a ride to the dentist to get checked out. Teeth are okay, they seem. I used to be able to do a Jack Nicholson, think old Jack Nicholson. Not like, not the one in court, like you're out of order thing, but like the old one. I used to be pretty good at just doing voices. Anyway, this is a picture of like my bar room in my an area in my bar room with some just goofy stuff and a tiny Christmas tree with oversized Christmas balls on it. But yeah, it's the holiday season. Whoop-de-doo. That's a line from an Andy Williams song. Yeah, this colorization is a little bit better. And Beale needed to be in color because we're in color. We went through that black and white stage. I'd like to change the type of some of these things to red and green, but I would have to start from scratch because I think we tried that one time and it didn't work. But, I don't want to get down, and I'm not going to push these news articles, but it is really sad that, during this season, that this has to occur. I mean, what were they thinking forget about the thing in Wisconsin. That's just, there's no excuse for violence and that kind of thing. I mean, the person wasn't happy, so he decides to kill people and who are having fun at a Christmas parade with probably a lot of kids there. Families. Who else goes to a thing like that, right? I mean, I'm not going to go to a Christmas parade, unless it was right in my front. If it went down my street, I guess I'd go out on my porch and see what the hullabaloo was all about, But I mean, people that get out and go to those things, that's like a family thing. Take your kids to the Christmas parade, because usually the last thing is like Santa Claus, like, riding on a fire truck or something like that. I mean, when you hear 40 injured, 5 dead, how many of those were kids? Or how many people kids lost parents on the holiday season? And I don't care whether it's Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever. The point is, it's a holiday season, and whoever you are and whatever you believe in or whatever you just celebrate, people have got to get, it's a pity they hide this show, because, there aren't enough people that, that really would talk about it this way and actually would point out that thing where CNN, like, what is wrong with CNN? Some fatalities after 20-some people injured, more than 20 people injured. An hour ago, when the official report clearly stated 5 were dead and more than 40 injured. Why would CNN downplay it? The demographic thing, the profile of the driver or something? I mean, what the... And these thieves going in and destroying these stores. See, here's the thing. Now, they just gave people like I've been talking about, $300 a pop for a kid. All right. So there should, unless they spent that on drugs, right? Because a lot of times around the holiday season, you see crime go up because, people, these deadbeats, they want to, like, show up with a Christmas present. And it's kind of sad in one regard, because they're broke and they're destitute, and they, and that leads to depression. That's why there's a lot of depression around the holidays too, right? That and other reasons. But, if the motivation was to go in this store so they could buy some Christmas presents steal Christmas presents for their kids, what did they do with that money that they just got sent in their bank accounts? See, that's what I was trying to tell you. The type of person who's a thief, who would go steal from a store, right, is the type of person that probably just spent that money on drugs and alcohol and didn't spend it on their kid. Somebody has a couple kids. They got $600 in cash on top of the fact that everything in life for them is free. And they couldn't put away a couple $100 to buy some Christmas presents. Get a Christmas tree and some Christmas presents. They got to break into these stores. But see, it goes beyond that. See, like I say, so forget about passing judgment on these are mentally ill people, okay? Right? That's what they should have never have gotten rid of the state hospitals. The state hospitals had problems, but they should have done what they did with the VA. They should have went and found the doctors and the caregivers that weren't, sticking to the, to the Hippocratic Oath and were, not treating patients and right and all of that, and fired them. Instead, they eliminated the state hospital system and created all that. Was the beginning of the homeless problem in the U.S. And these people end up in jail and, dead, homeless, and all that stuff. But all of that aside, let's put all that aside, okay? Let's make no judgment. Let's put all that aside. What about the person in that neighborhood that wanted to buy their child, their spouse, whomever, a present or an item they needed? And now that store was ransacked. Stores, obviously, according to the news, it seems to be like 3 different stores. Let's see. Because the one says smash and grab thieves target Hayward Mall and Lululemon store robbed in San Jose's Santana Row. And then under that is California Nordstrom ransacked by 80 looters in ski masks with crowbars and weapons. I mean, that's a planned attack. Right? And a terrorist act. I mean, 80 looters in ski masks with crowbars and weapons, witness. And the smash and grab thieves target Hayward Mall, an entire mall. That's terrorism. Because people will be afraid to go shopping at the mall. Crowbars and weapons at this other place, some store in San Jose's. Do you see what I'm saying here? And they refuse, and the main story was for like weeks and weeks and weeks was some case about some guy who defended himself against these kinds of thugs. Because that's what they are, thugs. Criminals, thugs. They're terrorists. Right? I mean, it's the definition of terrorism. Right? And then this orchestrated idea of everyone, 80 people in ski masks with crowbars and weapons. I mean, this is like orchestrated. It wasn't like some random happening, right? Somebody comes in, starts walking out with something, another person looks at it, goes, I think he's not paying for it. Heck, I'm going to do this, and then whatever. And then one by one, it mounts to 80 people. No. This was like, these guys, were somewhere and go like, and let's go, But pull back, hold judgment on all of that stuff, whatever the case is. I don't know what went on in their mind, how they planned it, who the mastermind was. That doesn't matter. It's the government fault, the local government's fault, the local DA, right, saying they won't prosecute these people that are giving them free rein. So now, inevitably, these stores may close, like they have, like a lot of those Walgreens stores just had to close down. But in the meantime, do you think these people are going to restock the shelves? And it's the holiday season? So what about the person that like walks to that store? Or that's the place closest to them where they were going to get their things. So, like I say, living, in the Great Reset. Is that the title? Exactly how I worded it. What did I say? The post-Great Reset world. Yeah. It's funny, I wrote that before I saw that news story. I did. So this is the post-Great Reset world. But I'm still not going to get negative. Like I was saying yesterday, I'm still not going to get totally negative on this. Because what it is you just have to avoid these people. Unfortunately. It's like you have to find... And the thing is, they show this on TV, and the type of thieves and that class of individual, they're sitting in bars. They got the news. That's what they have on in bars. They get it's either news or sports or something. So there's people there watching this, thinking, "Hey, man," and they're if they're with somebody else, "Hey, let's go hit that place down the street." Everybody's doing it, right? That way I could afford to buy. We could sit here and have a couple more drinks. I don't have to worry about saving that money to buy Johnny a Christmas present. You see? That's a sad reality of the post-Great Reset world. And you're not going to change that. Yeah, it's a free-for-all on retail. So, it's going to be like what I do. You just order stuff online. Now, of course, you got the porch thieves, so you have to be on top of it. But at least at these like Instagram or Instacart and these places, they notify you that that your delivery's on the way. And you get a text the moment it's just been dropped off, so you could be there right at the door and, and just bring it in. So it's not going to sit out there for a chance for some porch, these wandering porch thieves to like steal your stuff. It's like people that have these cameras and stuff and think that's going to prevent theft. Those type of people don't care. I was telling like a neighbor at one point. People have these signs. I'm not going to name the companies. There's a couple of them, but they put these signs up that have the logo of the alarm company, right? I think I may have said this about a year ago on one of my shows, and I said, "You don't understand." These people who are stealing this stuff, they don't know that name. They don't even know the name of that alarm company. And that was like a show I was explaining to people, and I'm doubling down on it right now, telling you that they don't care about that stuff or even understand that. All right? That's why there's so many people get caught and stuff, because criminals are dumb people to begin with. Right? Because if you had any kind of intelligence, there's a million ways to do things. And as far as gift giving goes, people who steal things around the holidays and then give it as a gift. Can you imagine like the receiver of that? They only knew, right? But what I was saying is that so people they get this alarm company. And this one woman who had these solar lights around her front, around the front of her house. The solar lights, little things that light up paths and things like that. Right in the middle of them, right in front of her house, she had one of those logo, in the lawn signs, this house protected by, or it's not, they don't even say protected by, it just has like this logo, as this logo is supposed to scare a potential thief away, right? But A, the thief doesn't know what that is. They're not hip to that. And she had her solar lights were taken right around, all around that sign. So either the thief was just sticking it to her like, like screw you and your stupid sign. She did have if someone would have broken her house, an alarm would have went off. But the point is, so either somebody was sticking it to her, or what I told her, I said, those people don't know what that sign means. Right? They don't know what that sign means. They don't care that you got a porch camera on. In this age of, I was always wondering, how it seemed that right around the time Antifa started to like really becoming like more national, the mask wearers, then mask wearing became like commonplace in this country. So it's like, people are wearing masks. Well, what good's a porch camera, People, and who's suspicious? Nobody's suspicious anymore if they're wearing a mask. I mean, it's not really funny to laugh at, but kind of
really funny. Really funny. What do you mean I'm funny?
But it's not funny. It's sad. Imagine like, you send a gift to somebody, UPS, United States Postal Service, FedEx, whatever. And, hey, did you get it? Did you get my present? Did you get my thing, my box? No, we didn't get it. And maybe you, like I say, gift giving sometimes is a sacrifice. In other words, you do without in order to afford it. That's something these thieves can't comprehend. See, they rather just buy some dope or just, drink in a bar. And instead of them saying, well, I'm not going to drink this weekend or I'm not going to go crazy, I'm going to save that money and buy a present for whomever. But they don't do that. They don't understand that concept that the best gifts are gifts it's like a sacrifice. Or it's like I was saying before, the value of time or something you've made, Excuse me. Not even carbonated. Green tea citrus in small print. I can't even read it with these reading glasses on. Flavor with other natural flavors. Everything in nature is natural. Even we call chemicals. They say, well, there's chemicals in that. Well, I had a chemistry set when I was a kid. All those chemicals came out of nature, and some of them were poisonous. It's amazing, those chemistry sets. In fact, there was one chemistry set where you would one of them had like some kind of radioactive thing in it, like uranium or something. They were interesting things that used to be available. Some of the toys that were available years ago. Yeah. But I mean, cobalt, that's like poison. And of course, people know sulfur's poison and stuff. But there were like kits that you could make gunpowder out of them, had the ingredients to that. I'm not going to say it on my show, but it's easy to make. And all that kind of stuff, It was like that was in the chemistry set. And they would have these experiments that you could do this. It's a crazy world. Speaking of Christmases past, I had a, good old Scrooge. He changed his ways. You know, he saw the light. That's a good movie. The one with him. That's Alistair Sim, I think. I'm pretty sure. That's the best one. You know, there's like 3 or 4. The one from like 1938, forget that. This particular one, Scrooge, I think, had also had Patrick McNee in it, who was like the original in that TV show, The Avengers, with that hot girl who wore leather pants. What was her name? Diana Rigg. That British TV show. That's a good one if you could find that. I have to look out for that one. Those Avengers. I could sit and binge watch those. I should add that to I've got a list of things that... It was that same list yesterday that I was filling out that I didn't really do. Well, I did try tuning the guitar, but... Avengers... TV show. The Avengers, different than the DC comic things and stuff. But yeah, that's my favorite Christmas one. I guess I'll watch it at some point. I'm sure it's available on Netflix or one of those Amazon Prime or something like that. You know. But yeah, that's what, like, behind my bar, you know, to the right of that would be some bottles and stuff around the season. I used to have a regular drinking buddy, but she's no longer. She's got decided to take graduate courses and got a job working out of her house now. Good salary, decent salary. So she's not available for happy hours the way she used to be, which is sad, you know. Of course, I can't drink on right now with this mouth and this antibiotics. At least that's what they're saying. They told me I shouldn't. Get my prognosis Friday. I got to arrange a ride to there. But yeah, we're living in this post-Great Reset world and country. And you know, you see all this craziness going on. And, you know, people say why, and there'll be discussions on it, and people will defend it, and CNN will downplay it. But that's not it. You know, the thing is, don't get caught up in it. You know, I brought it up to you so I could have this conversation that I'm having right at this moment and will continue to have. And that is, be aware of it, like I showed you. There's, you know, it's a little, you know, you don't live in a vacuum. Don't put your head in the sand. But at the same token, don't allow these people to get to you. You know, we'll probably see more restrictions on our movements in the coming weeks, months, and years. And that's something no politician is going to change, right? I mean, we saw looting under the Trump administration, under the Obama administration. Remember their riots under Obama? Black Lives Matter, believe it or not, formed under the Obama administration. So you had a black president, and you had this thing called Black Lives Matter forming under a black president. So you think he would have done something about it? He didn't do anything about it. So I'm trying to say, politicians they're just yes men. They're nobody. They're puppets, marionettes, whatever you want to call them. It's a corporatocracy. Right? And then you had the riots last year under Trump all over the place. And now you got Biden in there, like all these people voted, this Build Back Better. Well, it's like, you know, it's almost a year later, certainly a year after the election. And look at the violence. Somebody mowing down somebody at a Christmas parade? and people just like willy-nilly stealing things. What'd they say? Fentanyl use was up. Homelessness is still, is growing. You know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? These politicians, it's a big joke. And you're watching TV, or you're involved in social media, and you're going to get upset or argue with people about this stuff. And what I'm telling you is that, this is post Great Reset. The reset happened. This is what you're going to see. And you have to position yourself and realize that there's a paradigm shift in the way we all live. But like, look around my back here. You have to make your own, fun, your own holiday spirit. It just amazes me, though, that damn Christmas ball thing looks like a keyhole or something. It's weird. It's like this, it's a bell. When you see it up close, I mean, I'll just take it off. I've got it wedged in here, but I'll show you what it really looks like up close. You see, it's like a bell. I'll see if we could see there. You see how you can see like the pine cones? Of course, my hand's on it, so it doesn't ring, but there's a bow and whatever. But I don't know. It's weird. It's just not right for that spot. I'll put it over there and then move a tree in its place. And I'll save this tinsel to put on the tree. But see, that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about, I'm thinking about, like a holiday party and stuff like that. The fun kind of stuff. The reason I'm looking over there is I have these tubes. There. Sylvania tubes. It's all a set, That's all it is. It's a set. Like, you can't see the RCA thing. No. The hell with that one. But yeah, my feelings on the matter are, it's unfortunate, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it. As far as it's not going to get better. I mean, do you honestly think those 80-some people in ski masks orchestrated this Nordstrom raid with crowbars and weapons? That they're going to somehow see the light, or the law's going to change? See, what happened is in most areas, a lot of the good cops have quit the forces. So you've got the people now who've stayed on are like stormtroopers. And I'm sure there's some law officers, if they would listen to this, would be like, this guy's crazy. It's like, no, I know, that's the talk around, That's what people are saying. I mean, everyday people, people in this town, people who know people. That's what they're saying. People have taken early retirement because they don't want to deal with this craziness. And so the people that are staying are basically like have the stormtrooper mentality. See, the problem with that is that the attitude is that that's how you form. People say, well, how the heck did these totalitarian states how did you end up having these stormtroopers, these, SS and these type of, how did these organizations, how did the people allow this kind of thing to happen? Well, it started with the people wanting, first of all, they fear-mongered the people. That's step one. And then these events, right? Then as these events unfold, they keep reporting them. And so then the people demand to be safe. And so safety to them is, whatever it takes, right? And so if you are innocently caught, in the crossfire, literally, that's too bad. Like, what if you were in that store when this was happening? Right? And what if they crack down, which I doubt they will, but what if they crack down on this kind of thing and actually had more security? But again, you happened to be in that store wearing a mask, like, because you're supposed to, and you get hauled away or clubbed over the head. Or like somebody like me who just had oral surgery gets clubbed right on that spot. And ultimately ends up dying because of some infection thing or whatever. See, people never deal with like all these weird side, obscure things that happen, right? Like the innocent bystanders and the people that just happen to be around. It's like them saying 40 people injured. Some of those injuries could be life-threatening or life-destroying or crippling, right? Blinding, crippling. But it's like, oh, well, there were only 5 deaths. Yeah, well, that's a lot. But 40 injured. Yeah, but, there's a big difference between, cutting your finger, right? And, and not being able to walk or see or something weird like that. I think there might be caffeine in this. I'm not sure. Let's see. Citrus. I don't see the word caffeine. Oh, wait. Caffeine content. Yeah, there is caffeine in here. Refrigerate after opening. It's weird. Get like one swig left. Yeah, so that's where we're at on this 22nd of November. Thanksgiving is just 3 days away, right? And do you think that's the only place, like that story? That's the only place that was like ransacked, looted? No. Like I say, there's 90,000 homicides a year, and that was before any of this stuff. Who knows what those figures have gone up to? You can't trust the government, and you can't trust the media anymore. The media lies, and the government lies, because the government's a corporatocracy. They're only concerned about the profits for the corporations that basically own the politicians. So who even knows what's going on? So you have to live yourself, find a way. I don't know why my CPU usage is going up, as if something on my computer's using more. I might have to clean out my computer. It might be getting some dust buildup in there. It shouldn't be as high as it is. When that happens, sometimes I get, slowdowns and weird things happen. So I don't have anything else open. And the display capture thing's not being used. Daily photo. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So my feeling is moving forward, all you have to do, and it's not an easy thing, but I mean, all you have to do is avoid the problem areas. And you have to somehow find a way within your own community and your own circle of friends, circle of neighbors, whatever. And if you don't have that, well, I don't have that really. So I'm kind of stuck, making, it's like that Cass Elliot song, make your own kind of music, You just got to try to make a festive environment like I'm doing, and, and enjoy it. Live your life, remember that your life is important too, and that you can have fun and enjoy everything shouldn't be done. It's like people who decorate things or dress a certain way or do things because of how others are going to respond to it. Like, in other words, what I'm saying, the approval. See, I'm not decorating this thing here for your approval. What I'm trying to do is create the perfect set, because like I say, I watch these shows back. I'm one of the viewers. I'm a subscriber to my own channel. And I know that sounds funny. All right? And maybe it sounds warped to some people. But it's like, in today's show is just this is a vlog. This is this is you basically entering my life,
You're listening to Tony Caravan Live.
This is what YouTube, kind of one of the things YouTube was designed as. YouTube, okay? And the idea is that to drop in on different people and see what's going on, and people doing things. And some people are doing elaborate things. Some people might be building a cabin. I have videos of my garden, some people are showing you how to make a thing, right? But, this is, and some people, but mine is like a true vlog, right? You're just dropping in this is my place, my house. You call it the studio. It's just a front room, formerly a barbershop, right? And I'm going to make this the perfect place, by the end of this week. I'm going to have a tree hanging below that on-air thing, like a weird Christmassy thing. I got it. The only thing is I'm going to have to walk to the grocery store to get that extension cord. And a highlighter. So it's not enough to make a note, but it's like, get extension cord. And I hate to waste the money, but, I will do it because it'll make me happy to see it, right? That's the end of that. I wasn't drinking coffee because I forgot to ask the doctor if it was okay to drink coffee. And it didn't say anything on any of the paperwork. It's another problem with the medical profession. They're not thorough. You see, I like make these little notes. And like when I would work on things, I would like have notes or manuals, or even if I had in the old days, you would get a software. When you purchase software, you get a book with it, right? And so I would dog ear a certain page or I've always used index cards because these are the greatest things. For $1, you get like 100 of them. They're a penny a piece, right? Walmart used to be able to get them like at 100 for, I think, 50 cents or something. But whatever, it's a penny. It's still, And, I would use them as bookmarks, notations. Like I said, the old highlighter. The Post-it note. Remember those? You still use those? And if need be, I would add to things, and sometimes I would make my own manuals, like, if I could find it. Yeah, it's hidden back there. But when I used to do a lot of graphic design and had outside clients, I created my own font booklet. So, because I get tired of trying, special fonts would have like different characters, or you'd have these fonts that have, what dingbats are probably, or different things like that. And I get tired of like, you can't remember, hundreds and hundreds of like, where's the star, right? Which is actually the capital H in dingbats. But I mean, that kind of thing. You can't remember everything. There was like Valentine's Day would come along, and you'd want to have a heart in a font, which if you were using a vector program, you could make it, stretch it any size you want to, because you convert it, convert the thing. You didn't want to rasterize it. You wanted to basically convert it to vector art. And then you could make it any size you want. I used to know all that stuff. I used to do, not used to, I still do. I just don't have any use for it because I don't really deal with clients anymore. But what I would do is in other words, if I couldn't augment the manual or whatever and things that were needed, I would create my own little mini booklet, which was easy enough to do. I was a graphics person, and you could do it too. You don't even have to be a graphics person. You can make a crappy one. Some people just took a 3-ring binder with those plastic, sheets that had the 3 holes in them and slid things in it, and that's how they made like an employee manual or something, right? Or a guide on how to do the steps, And I used to have that, like how, turn on computer, dummy list, right, for somebody. In case you weren't in or you were out sick, you would have a book. How could someone access a file that you were working on if you called in sick or you were out of town? And I would have it like, it would be a total from basic so that the receptionist at the front desk could do it, who was not even familiar with my computer. And it would show a picture of the rear of the computer. Turn this switch on, right? When computer warms up, click on this folder or this directory, whatever. You see? In that way, I created it's like those books, what blank for dummies, whatever it is. They've got a book, something for dummies. And it's like, yeah, that's a cool thing. I like that. Those are some of the best books out there. That's what you want. Because you don't want to have to store, how much information can you store in your head? Right? And why bother? Clear out that hard drive, this bioelectric brain processing unit, clear that hard drive for like creative thinking, problem solving, instead of just being some parrot. There's some people, like I say, there's like some people you see, I used to see, I don't do it anymore, but you go to a bar and their mind was filled with statistics. Yeah, his batting average is like 275. He pitched a no-hitter in 1998. Okay, that's cool, great. I mean, I understand that's your whole life. And yeah, you got the jersey and you go to the person's house and they've got the posters and everything. Okay, fine. That's all right. That's cool. Have a thing. A singular thing. There are people who have a singular life and a singular focus, and that's cool. It's just not me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I wish I was that. I feel haunted, sometimes by the fact that I have, too much diversity, right? So I wish I was just a guitar troubadour or something like that, right? But that's how you get along. What I'm saying is, in this post-Great Reset world, and like I say, looking at today's news as an example randomly, which is not the motivation for me to title this show the way I did title it, but things just work out that way. Hey, in my kitchen bar, I'm into the holiday season, whoop-de-doo, right? This show is holiday themed and will be holiday themed for the next, right in through the first week of January. Right? Why not? Might as well, do it for 2 months. Enjoy the holiday season. Right? Who knows what I'll do in 2022? Too far away to think about. Focus on the here and now. But crazy stuff is going to happen. Crazy stuff is happening. And sitting around watching it and being obsessed with it and getting worked up over it is not going to solve a problem. And thinking you're going, like I said before, donating money and getting caught up in a cult of personality to find someone you think is going to suddenly save you from all this is a mistake. Save yourself. Right? There's a certain thing about acceptance. Acceptance is not defeat. Right? That's living in the real world. That's dealing with reality. People who don't accept the things around them and what has occurred, people that don't accept the fall of Western civilization or the Great Reset are not dealing with reality. Because none of this stuff would be happening, okay, if we weren't if the Great Reset didn't already happen. Came and went, like I said 2 shows ago. So in those areas, it's only going to get worse. And that's why, like I said, that's why I moved here. There's really nothing. The only thing they can really loot here is a convenience store and the grocery store down the street. And quite frankly, I'm getting tired of that grocery store. And I'm thinking of, after this weird problem I had with the pharmacy. I'm thinking of signing up. There's a pharmacy in town that's next to the hospital, actually, that actually delivers, prescriptions. And, a friend of mine told me that, man, I should have listened to her a couple of months ago about that. And I'm like, I get so few prescriptions, I wasn't thinking about this stupid tooth thing or this thing. I'm like, nah, they have it down. I could walk to the pharmacy down the street and at the grocery store, so I don't need that. Well, famous last words. So I think what I'm going to do is sign up there at that place. So I'll just have my if I have to have a prescription sometime, I'll just have it delivered. Right? And it's the same as I'm going to start, as I get the food delivered and things like that. And I guess I will put an effort into getting myself set up with some kind of treadmill type of situation. And in the winter months, I'll just exercise. I'll do my workouts inside. I mean, I'm going to have to inevitably shovel snow and stuff like that, which is really a good workout, by the way. So I'll have those days of that. I go out every morning and feed the birds and breathe deeply that morning cold, fresh, clean air, And I guess I'll still walk every now and then. But what I'm trying to get at is that, whatever your situation is, if you have to adapt to it, you have to deal with reality. And you have to make your own, like I say, make your own kind of music. Find your own fun. Freedom is fun, and you have to, you have to be free, within your world. And not get caught up in the world of the media, the corporations, or these crazy radical, I don't know. They're just unhappy, hateful people, right? Or they're just downright thugs and thieves and thugs, whatever you want to call them, right? So why let them rule your life? And what makes you possibly think that in a country of 330 million plus people, that there's any way some politician or law enforcement agency is going to be able to control, a couple of million thieves and thugs? Because that's how many there are. They're all over the place. Every town's got them, right? Every town's got them. They used to say the jails were all filled with people who were pot smokers or minor crimes because they're, private owned prisons and stuff like that. But have you seen the growth of in the states of legalized marijuana and stuff like that? It's growing across the country. So it's you don't have you still do, but it's not no. You got a lot of gangbangers, thieves, and thugs, and murderers, rapists, hardcore criminals in these prisons. We have these things called supermax prisons in this country. That's how bad people are, right? So it's there's not, you have, that's acceptance of reality. A political candidate isn't going to change someone, right, from being what they are. Maybe if our education system was better and we brought up people better and didn't warp them, from infancy to this idea of, pitting one group against another and the TV does. But, That's not, do you think that's going to change? That's not going to change. How would that change? How would a political candidate change? Supposed to be, if anything, if you had a more constitutional legislature or president and judges, that would be more support for freedom of the press, meaning that, these people would just, would continue to be free to just spew out all these lies and warp people's minds. And the school boards are done on a localized level, and there's tens of thousands of school board, of people involved in that kind of stuff. That's like I told you, Tip O'Neill said, all politics is local. So you're dreaming when you're putting money into these senators or presidential candidates and stuff like that. You're dreaming. I mean, you have to learn to laugh at it. The funniest thing of all was like Biden with that stack of like executive orders. No one knows what was in there. No one knows what was signed. All we know is that people are going like, it's like we're living in a lawless society and the Great Reset is in full force. And you're not going to take that stuff away, Nah. By year's end, anywhere between 1 and 2 million people have already crossed the border into the United States. Nobody knows who the hell they are, and they're all over the place. There's this thing, whatever they, that this endless flu thing, whatever you want to call it, plague, endless. It's endless. You should look into Australia, what they're doing there. They've got like a big battle going on there, where they're actually trying. Their government is in the process of trying to pass this authoritarian rule. In other words, they're trying to turn the guy into a dictator, right? Make it an authoritarian state, totalitarian state, whatever you want to call it. Right, the police there, I can't believe it, but the police are like they are like stormtroopers over there. They're hitting old ladies over the head, dragging women, away from their child in a park. Because for some reason, there was nobody around them for literally miles or a mile, and they're like swooping in on them. I mean, the UK is a mess. Austria has lockdown now? I mean, we're talking like, remember, this is 2.5 years now because, this was first reported through the intelligence agencies in the summer of 2019. All right. So 2.5 years. And now they're having lockdowns and stuff. So this is, what's going on is, like I say, it's surreal. And of course it's, This is insane. So you can't, it's the old thing. You can't fight City Hall, man. And so you have to look, and just like the same with these, these platforms, social media, you just got to work within the framework. I think it's possible to live out our lives and be, and be happy. Because, the other thing is people have changed. And, I haven't talked about this in the past. And, we'll spend the rest of the show on this. But this is something that you might not have thought of. There's a lot of things on this show that most people don't think of. But there's people that want to bring back, 1958, right? Brenda Lee rocking around the Christmas tree. Okay? We'll just do that again just for the fun. You know, and then there's that other one that goes hand in hand with that. By that guy, can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I will in a second. Let's see, what is it? I know it's in every one of my Christmas mixes. I always have a couple of these classic old ones. Oh, come on, where is it? Don't tell me I don't have it here. I guess I don't. No. Okay. Well, I'm not going to waste time on it. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, the 50s are over, the 60s are over, the 70s are over, and the 80s are over. And the 90s, I like the 90s, and the 90s are over, man. It's like, you know, this is 2021. Actually, it's 2022 for all practical purposes. We're turning the corner, man. The 2022 new cars are out. Right? Second decade, we're going to be 2 years into the second decade of the 21st century. All right? The future. Right? And so, you know, it's not going to go back to whatever your golden year was. You know, we all have golden years. And I don't mean like old, like the show The Golden Years as if it's old people's golden years. Those aren't golden years, man. You know, that show was so deceptive. That was a bunch of rich old ladies who basically do have the fortunate ability to have golden years. The real fact about people who are old, you know, they're like sick, suffering, lonely, you know, and all that kind of stuff. In pain, on prescription drugs, in care centers and stuff like that, you know. Now, when I say golden years, I'm talking about the good times. You know, whatever decade, you know, you might have thought you had the most fun. Whether it was 70s or the 80s, you know, it depends on your age. The 60s, the 90s, whatever, you know. Maybe the first 10 years of the 2000s were great for you. But whatever it is, you're not going to back. You can't go back in time. And no political candidate is going to take you back in time, right? You're not voting for the guy who says, I have a time machine that's going to take the entire country back 20 years, right? Yeah. I haven't seen anybody running on that. The time travel candidate, the time travel party, right? Not now. Maybe, you know, in some future, you know, time, but not now. There's no time travel party. But that's how people are acting with these people. You know, because that's what they're being promised. We're going to take things back. We're going to make it the way it used to be. It's like, but the people, it isn't the way it used to be. Like in my neighborhood, you know, the other day I talked to this woman at this hardware store. And she said to me, you can't imagine what this place used to be like 20 or 30 years. She's an older woman who's had that place, you know, since the old days. You know, they lived here. So she said, you can't imagine what this neighborhood was like 30 years ago. It was just something else. Well, you know what this neighborhood looks like now? They've literally wrecked, demolished, and covered over and planted grass, like taking a dozen or more houses down. So that's gone, you know, and they're doing that all over cities. And they're building developments, and malls are gone. Like, I'm surprised that area that this, you know, they were talking about them looting a mall. I thought most of the malls had all turned into weird places, right? You know, where they had you know, church services and, you know, obscure church services and different things in them. Half the great mall, the stores that used to be the staples in the malls, and I don't mean the store staples. I mean every mall had one, this, that, the other. Half those businesses, they no longer exist. So, it's not going to go back to the 80s mall day like that Fast Times at Ridgemont High. All right? If you ever saw that movie, The Mall, or Mall Rats. How about that movie, right? That's not coming back. Right? But that might have been your golden years, right? Fun, free spirit, doing what you want, going, hanging out at the mall after work or working at the mall, right? Sometimes the simplistic jobs, I tell people that, I've had executive jobs where I was the boss many times. But, so I've also had jobs where I was just like a regular, just a worker, when I was young. And sometimes, you think, that you were so free then. Because, if you're, when you were done work, you didn't have to take your business home with you. You collected your paycheck and you just did what you want. It was like TGIF, right? So you think about that when you hear these candidates making these speeches and when you watch your media. Because they're lying to you, and they have been lying to you for years. Like look at what just happened, right? This stuff is happening all over the place. Smash and grab thieves. 80 looters in ski masks. But the point is, that's not some strange, obscure story. A couple of months ago, we heard about all the Walgreens that were closing down because people were. And everyone's seen the videos. They're all over YouTube. I mean, if the mainstream media doesn't want to play them because they want to pretend this isn't going on, but everyone can see them. They're still there. Guys riding in with bikes, people going in with big backpacks and just like emptying entire shelves into their bags and just walking out like, right? Well, how's some political candidate going to change that character? Right? It's not going to happen. There were laws in place. A lot of these laws, these looting laws and different things, they just came in place post last year's street riots and stuff. In other words, they eased up on it. In other words, defunding the police was after the fact when the police were standing down anyway. You might as well not have them, right? I mean, we were watching cities burn, over issues that affected individuals. I mean, let's call it like it is. It's, these are opportunistic looters and opportunistic riots, right? It's just like I say, this recent trial, I'm not even going to mention the name or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? This is between the court, that guy, and the people involved. That is, what, it has nothing to do with us. All right? Nothing to do with us. And in fact, a ruling in an area that's not your hometown has nothing to do with what a ruling would be in your area. So why even converse and talk about it? Right? And some senator, congressman, president is not, running for some office. Change that. It's out of their jurisdiction. Right? Their purview of, of what they can or cannot do. And I don't think people think about that. They don't see how society's changed. You know, people are just self-centered and they're into their own world. Materialism has gotten way, way out of control. And don't go back on me and say like, oh, back here is all materialism. This isn't materialism. This is just stuff. These are things I've had. You know? And the other things that I talk about are just things to help you in case the power goes out or something like that, or writing a book or a song. So, teddy bear. No. Now, we live in a world where people are shown the new iPhone or the new this, the new that, some kind. I mean, I've got headphones on. Because I like headphones. I don't like the earbuds. I have like earphones with my old iPhone when I walk down the street. Sometimes I'll listen to music that way. But I like headphones. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll get myself a set of wireless headphones, right? But I want a good set. I want one of the, and maybe something that has that sound, basically, takes out outside sound, right? It's early in the morning, man. My brain is useless, right? Sound canceling. And, I'm looking in, and like the half decent ones, I mean, you could always buy junk, right? But the half decent ones were all like in the hundreds of dollars, couple of $100 for a set of headphones, man. Headphones used to be like $19.95. Good set, $29, $30 maybe. Tops. Right? It's insane. So we're not going back, we're not going back to some glory days, which maybe is a better term than golden years. Like the glory days, whatever your glory days were. And that's what I think a lot of people are caught up. And they go to these rallies and they donate money to campaigns and they think they're going to go back and change and go back to glory days. No, here's what's going to happen. What already happened like 4 or 8 years ago, or not 8 years, 12 years ago. People voted Obama in for change, and he was in for 8 years. And what did we get? We got ISIS, Black Lives Matters, right? And a bunch of drone bombs, all right? And then Trump comes in, and what did we get? Right? Every step he took, he was pushed back, right? Impeached, right? Blocked, delayed. And he's gone. Now you got some other guy in here. And, and people are 80 masked people are going in looting with weapons, right? And plowing down people in Christmas parades. And this stuff's going on all over the country too, by the way. Like I say, you only know, it's like you don't know what you don't know. That saying above my head. You don't know what's being reported and going on in some other town. When you see a government statistic that there's 90,000 homicides a year, the majority of which are unsolved, well, you don't know, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. And that's been going on that's a year. That's been 1 year. That's been going on for a long time. Every year. All right? So in 10 years, it's like 1 million people, right? No, 100. Yeah, 1 million people, close to 1 million people, 900,000. Because I think it's probably higher than that because, everything doesn't get reported. So 1 million people, most of which were unsolved, were killed in the last 10 years in the U.S. homicide, murdered. Oh, they won't put that on the TV screen, right? Because see, that's a failure of government, law enforcement, bureaucrats. You see, that's a fail. That's an area they failed in, keeping us safe. That's like the purpose you really pay taxes, right? So, no political candidate has changed or will change society. Society is different. It's a different world. This is the post-Great Reset world right now. And you have to have, live within it to the best of your ability. Make your own kind of music. Make your own fun, Be free within the confines of, this area, right? Because there's nothing else you can do. You can be good. I try to be good to people, right? I'm doing this. I'm sharing, ideas. I wrote 10 books. I write these songs. I do these videos. I try to help, give insight into things that are going on, but it's you that could become, you could be like the transformation that Scrooge makes during that, classic Dickens tale. That's up to you. And think of the time that was written. Was that the one that they were the worst of times, these are the best of times, these were worst of times? I'm not sure if that was the beginning of that one, but I think that was a Dickens line either way. But think of the way people lived back then. They didn't have the modern conveniences that we had. Right? But they found happiness. Certain people found happiness. And simple folk found happiness. Your ancestors, survived, and that's why you are here today. Each generation is supposed to kind of give a boost to the one prior, or the one that comes after. Yeah, not the one prior, unless there is that time travel candidate. But really, so life has improved. We have a pretty good situation. You have to look at the basic things that most people just take for granted. You got flushable toilets. That's a big deal. 100 years ago, a lot of people in this country didn't have those. Just like 100 years ago. The early part of the 20th century, there were a lot of people still had outhouses. Sanitation. The idea, the food, the availability of food. You could talk about food shortages or supply chain this, supply chain that. But if that's your concern, stock up, get whatever you want to. I've been buying stuff. I buy extra canned goods every time I go shopping. I always keep a pantry filled, And like I say, I know every summer I can grow, and I've grown things in my own back porch, So, we have it a lot better, I don't have a car. You got it better than I do. I can't drive, I can't go anywhere. It's like a hassle for me to go places, but, people have cars. There's 11 million jobs out there that nobody's taking. And most of those jobs, and like I said before, those jobs are all the high 5 figures and 6-figure jobs. And some of them, many of them, you could work out of your house. People just don't want to work. Times have changed. You know, these people are going, why should I work when I could put on a ski mask and I could just go into Nordstrom or wherever, or Walgreens, or they don't care where it is. They don't care if it's a high, you know, some high-end store, or if it's a corner, you know, cheap bodega, you know, convenience store. They go in there and just fill their sack with whatever. And they forget, you know. That's why I'm glad I don't have a store, you know, because that was one of the things I was going to do. If I, in this other building I had this idea, and just for the sake of it, to end this show on this, I wanted to do, but I'm obviously not going to do it. And but I had the space. I was going to have this idea of the 100 items that everyone needed. You know, I was going to come up with some kind of fancy thing, you know, some kind of name about it, you know, top 100, you know. And, you know, it was like, there are things that everyone needs. It's like a shopping list. And I was going to mail out that shopping list with little check boxes next to each item to all the people in the neighborhood. Right? This is what we have. Here's the check box. Check it. Bring this in and buy it. Right? Or buy it online and we'll deliver it to you. And, you know, it'd come down to that point that, you know, there's like the top 100 things. What do people buy? Right? That, you know, the most common, you know, and 100's a lot, but it's also not as much as like when you look at a big grocery store or a big thing, they got thousands of items. But the average person, you know, you're not buying, you know, you may not be buying some green salsa or whatever, you know. I mean, you want something odd like that, go ahead. But basically toilet paper, you know, toothpaste, you know, food items, but, you know, the basic, you know, the 100 most popular items. So it's like the top 100. That was the idea. Someone could steal this idea from me. That's what I would call it. And you can make it like a music theme almost type of idea, the store, called the top 100. Right? And everything could be like, you know, put that, you know, you could have like the top, you know, like the top 10 aisle, right? Right. And you could be playing music in the place and, you know, all kinds of weird stuff. You know, it's always, you know, themes always work better in environments like that. Used to see a lot of mall stores were like that. They were very thematic, right? And they were fun places to shop, and there were fun places for employees like to work there because it was just a fun environment and all that kind of stuff. That was something I was going to do. But instead, buy my book, and I've got a list where you just list your top items. Make a list, do it yourself, order it from one of these services, have them delivered to your door. Make friends, reconnect with family if you can, you know, and enjoy life and live well. Improve the quality of your life in this post-Great Reset world. And forget about all this stuff out there, and don't count on somebody making it better and changing it and sending us back in time. It's just simply not going to happen. So it's a waste of time, effort, and money. Okay?
Good morning.
Anyway, visit my website. It's not too late. There's free shipping now on my T-shirts, hoodies, and all that kind of stuff. So go to TonyCaravanLive.com or ROCKFLUX.com and get that stuff. Remember, I got the great solar stuff to get you through. And buy my book on Amazon, Then What, or Codex. They're like